been a long time since I've showed my face on this channel. I just wanted to share a really cool story of how your loved ones can show up for you if you ask for signs and symbols. I had something really amazing happen to me last week that I would love to share with you all. So this is going to be like me talking about my personal life, so I'm being really vulnerable here, so if you could be kind. Short and sweet version of my background. My mom had me young, and she was a single mom, and I didn't meet my dad till I was 16 years old. He struggled with addiction and all of that his entire adult life. So I met him at 16, and then he passed away when I was 17. So I knew him for about a year and a half of my life. It was a very sudden, tragic loss. I was the oldest of 4 kids, 2 stepsisters and my half brother and me. And the youngest was 6. So it was a pretty impactful and traumatic event in my life. Fast forward to today. I work with spiritual mentors and coaches. Let me know if you want more information, but I've been working with them basically since COVID. And they offer services where once a week they provide their members with what they call mini readings on Mondays, which today they have mini reading Monday. So last week it was my go at it. And for the first time in the last 5 years, my dad actually came through. And what this looked like was they basically told me that I released him. Now, I've been doing a lot of self-work, like spiritually, psychologically, like working on all my traumas, a lot of shadow work, a lot of like mental processes going through my mind. So what they meant by that, I mean spirit and my dad, is I released him so he was able to step forward and actually come through in a reading. His death was a very sudden loss, and it involved drugs. It wasn't intentional. He basically picked up, an old habit, and what he took was, my understanding is, I think it was laced with something else. So anyways, he passed away. And so I don't know if there was like a heaviness around that, or it was just all of the old work that I've been working around, spiritually speaking, lineage wise, like going back lifetimes within the family line. So basically he came through and was, it was just a great reading and a great day. So the next day I asked, and this whole last week, this happened last week, I've been asking for signs and symbols, for confirmation from him that, I wanted to, like, as we all do, we try to like rationalize and like try to eliminate any kind of factors that would say that that was not him or, that your loved one isn't coming through. You're looking to kind of like, you want more proof. We always want more proof, just to kind of like go through, I don't know. It's just how we work. At least my mind. I know others would probably want additional proof that that was actually your loved one coming through, right? So I said out loud, and I said in my mind several times, like, okay, Dad, show up and show out. Make it obvious that this is you coming through. I need a confirmation from you that you're actually, this was you coming through reading me, mini reading Monday, and that you're trying to get in contact with me. Now, just to remind you, I've never seen signs or symbols that really screamed out like, that's Dad. I mean, really never. And I lost him at 17, and I'm now 41. So we actually just passed his death anniversary a few days ago, and it's been 24 years. So, So I asked for these signs and symbols, and kind of going back to my history, when I was probably about, I don't know, I was told I was around like a toddler's age, like anywhere from like baby to like 3 or 4 years old. My dad had been going out with friends, and he was at a bar, and he got, you know, those claw machines like with the little stuffed animals. This is back in the 80s, okay? So they had a claw machine in a bar, and he won one, and he came by my house where I was living and wanted to meet me, and my mother refused, just because I'm sure he was not in the best condition to meet his daughter at that point in time. I don't know. I trust my mom's judgment on that. She did the best that she could. So she refused, you know, but she took the gift to give to me and said it was from him, and it was a little black stuffed vulture. So the body, odd, right? Like, who gives a little girl a vulture? The body was black, the head is orange. It's like small. It's packed away right now, but maybe if I dig it out, I'll show you what that looks like. So now Vulture's pretty old. He's pretty tore up. But anyways, I still have him. You know, that was the one thing I had from my dad my entire life. Nothing else, except for when I turned 16 and met him. Then we had like a birthday and Christmas, that type of stuff. So where I received other gifts. But to me, in my mind, that's the most meaningful thing that I've ever gotten from him. So last week, when I asked for these signs and symbols, it's Friday. I asked for it on Thursday, actually, I think it was. I'm like, okay, make it obvious. Make it like within, you have to be really specific. Otherwise, you might miss these signals. So I said, make it within like the next day, like 24 hours. Like, it has to be loud and proud in my face, so I know without a doubt that it is you coming through. So I have a daughter. I have a son too. He's going to be 10 in a couple days, and my daughter is 4, and she's in K4 right now. And so each week they do these letters of the week. She's learning how to read and write. And so the letter of the week was V. Now, each week they make little critters. They make like construction letter cutouts, and then they turn them into like a little fun little critter or something, like as a craft. And tell me how many things you know start with a V. Like, I can't think of really many animals or critters that start with V. So Friday, they get home from school, and I'm opening her folder, and I pull out the letter V construction paper, and it's a black vulture. Black construction paper, orange head. I was in shock. I was like, okay, Dad, I see you. I see you. Okay, you're good. And that just leads me into this whole other, like, it opened a can of worms, thinking, out of all the things that could have been in the claw machine, it had to be a vulture. And then my mind goes into all of like, just like timelines and how time functions. And it's just like, that was so intentional back then for this very moment. So just keep asking for those signs and symbols, y'all, because they are out there, and pay attention and be specific. And keep on working on your shadow work and releasing whatever you need to work on, and that'll make it easier for them to come through. And I am just so ecstatic that my dad's with me now, and I can totally feel him around me. And I can tell you confidently, I could not before. And I'm just cloud 9 over here. Anyways, have a great week, everybody. Bye.